With Trump announcing a reciprocal tariff policy this week, signaling a dramatic shift in US trade strategy. Could this trigger a new wave of global protectionism or even realign existing trade blocs? How might countries like India recalibrate their trade and export positioning in this emerging scenario? And more importantly, will this have a lasting impact on US economic imperialism and its global leverage? Um, yeah, so this is gonna be definitely interesting. What's happening? So look, the economy we've had for a very long time is a globalized economy, more or less, isn't it? All nations are integrated together into a single trading system. We all do exports, imports, and we have various good duties and stuff, but it's all under control. And it's like open markets, free markets, right? A free market economy. That's essentially what the Western rules-based world or rules-based global order has been. The effort to impose a free market kind of system on the whole world, where everybody trades with everybody. So I don't have to manufacture everything. I can just import it from wherever it's manufactured, and so if I don't have some things, it doesn't matter because I can import those things, and whatever other nations need, I can export that to them. So it's a very open system. It's been a very open system, a very globalized system. Now Trump has imposed tariffs on everybody. This is essentially the end of the global system, the globalization system. It's no longer a free market. It's now a mercantilist market. Everybody's going to fight everybody else through, uh, you know, mercantilist strategies and tactics. Mercantilism is essentially an economic means of essentially beggaring your neighbor, turn your neighbor into a beggar by by having these predatory policies and all that. So that's what it is. So what is happening right now? What is Trump doing? I mean, people are saying he's gone mad. Is he? No. This is a complete this is the beginning of a restructuring of the global order. So we are now witnessing the beginnings of a bipolar or tripolar world. Multipolarity will not last too long. From my perspective, real multipolarity means 20 nations with nuclear weapons, which will never happen. If it happens, it's going to be chaos. Uh, so we're going to have bipolarity or tripolarity. What do I mean by bipolarity? It's the US empire and its minions, and the Russia-China axis. And in the Russia-China axis, you will have nations like North Korea, like Iran, and various other nations who might want to be in that grouping. And then there may be a third grouping, which is the so called global south, led by nations like India. Nations that want to be neither here nor there, who want to be friends with both. There may be a place for such a grouping in this emerging world order. But right now, we are witnessing a rapid shift, global shift. And what the US is doing, so we are witnessing the beginning of a new Cold War. The Cold War hasn't really started yet, it's beginning now. So, in a Cold War, what you do, so let's say you have two major players in a Cold War, two major adversaries, two superpowers, let's say. What each does is that they try to bring all the supply chains, all the production facilities, all the trade networks, everything under their complete control. So, you'll have two systems like this, two sets of supply chains, two sets of integrated supply chains, integrated with production facilities, and integrated with trade networks and all that. So China and Russia will do one of those things, and the US and its minions will do the other one. So the US is right now forcing nations to make a choice. Okay, Canada, Mexico, all the EU nations, all the NATO nations, they are being bullied right now, but they're gonna have to make a choice. So in the old order, you know, in the old order, you could do whatever you wanted. You could have you could buy oil and gas from one part of the world. You could access markets wherever you wanted, American markets, Indian markets, Chinese markets, And the European nations could, at the same time, while doing all this, while enjoying Saudi and Russian oil and gas, and enjoying access to American and Chinese and Indian markets, they could still benefit from the US security umbrella. And the Americans paid everything for the security umbrella. Now that's gone. Now they can no longer enjoy all those benefits, the European nations. They can no longer enjoy cheap Russian energy, cheap Russian gas or oil. They can no longer enjoy access to the Chinese market if they want the benefit of the American security umbrella. And if they want the American security umbrella, they'll have to pay top dollar for it. They'll have to ramp up their spending on GDP to 5%, spending on military on the military to 5% of GDP. So they are all being made to make a choice. Okay, now nations like India may have a third option, and we could be strategically autonomous. We could be friends with everybody if we play the game right. So that is what's happening right now. So the Americans are forcing. So Trump essentially is setting has set this thing in motion through the tariffs and through so much more. So we are now once again entering a Cold War era. And Russia and China are on one side. Iran is with them. North Korea is with them. Japan is trapped in a very strange geographic neighborhood, uh, being an ally of the US. Of course, it's across the Pacific, so it's kind of fine. And Hawaii is nearby, Guam is nearby. They have reasonable protection. But yeah, you have Russia and China right next door for Japan's perspective. So for India, what we need to do is make sure the Americans aren't too displeased. Uh, you know, have trade talks with them, hammer out an agreement, find places, find areas of convergence, and work out the best possible arrangement when it comes to trade and tariffs. Obviously the Americans will demand access to this and access to that and more, whatever they want. So we may have to give in to some of these things, but that's how it works in the world. Okay, it doesn't mean we're giving up our sovereignty. It's just that we are, changing some parameters here and there. um, so from India's perspective, it may still be a good scenario, because even the Chinese want access to the Indian market, and that's why they have changed their game the past year or so. So it's a wait and watch thing. But let's be very clear: a new Cold War era is upon us. The European nations are becoming very rapidly irrelevant. Okay, they will no longer be able to have these socialistic policies while being super liberal. Um, you know, welfare state policies. It's not going to work anymore for them. And if they really want to be sovereign, if they want to stand up to the US, they're going to have to become military powers again, which is very difficult. And the Americans may not even allow that. So that's where we are. So it's a time of very rapid geopolitical change. A very rapid geopolitical realignment is happening right in front of our eyes. And Trump is actually moving the pieces of the chessboard in front of us right as we speak. And we're seeing it happen in real time. We're seeing geopolitical realities change in real time. Usually it takes decades for this to happen. Nobody notices what's happening. Right now, we're seeing it on a daily basis. Very interesting times to live in.